Shore power reduces emissions by up to 98%. To give you a better idea, that's equivalent to taking 7,500 cars off the road annually per terminal.
It is because our 5 major cruise companies all agreed to participate. This will have huge significance for reducing our carbon footprint.
In the coming year, Port Miami will have more than 350 vessel calls plugging into the shore power system, proving that Port Miami is committed to being a sustainable global gateway. For Miami-Dade TV, I'm Bianca Hanlon, and that's what's new in our county.
We are in Homestead celebrating the key ceremony of giving 2 families the keys to their brand new home here in Miami-Dade County through our Dream Homes Lottery program. This started a few years ago where we opened up a lottery and received over 23,000 applications for 2 units and 2 opportunities at home ownership in Miami-Dade County. A lot of people to thank, but today is really, really a great day for these 2 families.
Owning a home is the American dream, and sadly here in Miami-Dade County it's out of reach for so many. Our housing prices are so high, and we have one of the lowest home ownership rates in the country. So I'm very, very proud that our county is able to find ways to put together housing that people can afford. It does take a village.
I'm very happy, and it's a dream. It's a dream. I can see my dream is come true.
We are so excited about this. The Board of County Commissioners have really funded this program well. Homeownership is very important. It builds long-term wealth. They own the land, they own the building. So we're looking to build a lot of homes and provide a lot of opportunity for residents.
Imagine a kitchen upgrade or roof repair for your home. But are they safe and up to code? Without a permit, you risk electrical fires or leaky roofs or worse. This endangers lives, decreases property value, leads to costly repairs and fines, and violates the building code. Remember, permits equal protection, and protection equals peace of mind. Protect your home, protect your investment. For more information, visit miamidade.gov/build-permit-safe.
¿Quiere reformar la cocina o reparar el techo de su casa? Hágalo de manera segura y conforme a las normas. Sin un permiso corre peligro de incendios, goteras o algo peor. Y esto pone en riesgo vidas humanas, reduce el valor de su casa, da lugar a reparaciones y multas costosas e infringe el código de construcción. Permiso es igual a protección y protección es igual a tranquilidad. Más en miamidade.gov/build-permit-safe.
Imagine ou faire rénovation cuisine ou soit réparation toiture caillou. Mais est-ce que vous sans danger et vous conforme à code là? Sans yon permis ou risque incendie électrique ou soit toiture coulée ou bien pimal. Ça mette vie moun en danger, diminue valeur propriété a, mener réparation ak amende qui coûte cher et puis ça viole code construction. Songez, permis égale protection et protection égale qu'imposé. Protéger caillou, protéger investissement. Pour plus d'informations, visitez miamidade.gov/build-permit-safe.
Port Miami is a powerful economic engine for Miami-Dade County, and its impact on the region has increased significantly over the last several years. During the pandemic, when many businesses paused operations, the port forged ahead and rose above adversity. New cruise terminals were built, and cargo volumes were the highest on record. In both cruise and cargo, Port Miami has continued its impressive trajectory. Port Miami economic impact reaches beyond the county, supporting more than 340,000 jobs and contributing over $61 billion to the local, regional, and state economy. Miami-Dade County and the port demonstrated incredible faith in the cruise industry coming back after COVID. And wow, is it paying off. Millions of passengers were eager to return to cruising, and Port Miami was ready. The resurgence of cruising is not only boosting the economy, but also setting new standards for sustainable travel, proving that economic growth and environmental responsibility can go hand in hand. Just look at what's happening at the port. New ships, new terminals, new records, and a world-class experience for our cruise passengers. All 7.3 million of them this year, that continues to get better all the time. And we are finalizing the construction of our shore power program at 5 terminals, which will allow up to 3 ships to turn off their engines at the same time while in port. This future-ready initiative will significantly reduce emissions, furthering commitment of both Port Miami and the cruise industry to sustainable practices. Port Miami remains the undisputed cruise capital of the world. The global gateway of the Americas saw over 1 million TEUs coming through the port last year, and the fruits and vegetables coming through Port Miami can reach 70% of the U.S. population in 1 to 4 days. And right behind them, apparel and textiles move in and out of the port with speed and efficiency through rail and the Port Miami Tunnel. Over 140 nations send goods through Port Miami, leading with Latin America and the Caribbean, followed by Asia, Europe, the Mediterranean, and Africa. New routes, new innovation, net zero initiatives, and workforce development. In collaboration with the Miami-Dade Innovation Authority, the port is actively seeking companies to develop smart technologies aimed at transforming cargo operations and driving sustainable growth, and help us ensure the port remains future ready. We are also helping to train the next generation of maritime workers, along with Miami-Dade County Public Schools and our cargo partners. Port Miami. The state of the port is strong, and our future is very bright.
Every year, thousands of pets go missing in Miami-Dade County. Sadly, many of them never make it back home. A microchip can make the difference between your pet being lost and being found. It is a small device safely inserted under your pet's skin that provides permanent, reliable identification.
We're calling from Miami-Dade Animal Services. Your dog Pongo is here.
Pet owners are encouraged to microchip their pets and keep their contact information current in the microchip registry. Get chipped or get lost.
Facing a storm is one challenge. Facing it unprepared is another. That's why I'm going to help you stay ahead of a storm. Let's go.
Hurricane season officially runs from June 1st to November 30th, so it's still a good time to stock up on essentials. But you don't have to shop alone. Miami-Dade County offers a severe weather and emergency readiness guide to help you along the way. I'll be teaming up with Jose Alvarez, the General Manager of Shell Lumber and Hardware, to share weather-ready supplies that will prepare you for the next storm. Jose, can you tell us what are some items that our residents should consider to prepare for a storm?
Yeah, absolutely. So since 1928 and every year thereafter, we've been telling the community to always stock up on the essentials. Things like batteries, flashlights, masks, gloves. Those are all things that are going to be great if a storm does come, but if it doesn't, you'll still need them at home.
Okay, so can you please tell us now, how can our county residents protect areas where wind can enter?
So we always recommend the best course of action is to have impact-resistant windows and doors. However, if you didn't order those before this hurricane season, we do have the essential lumber and plywood where you can board up your windows and doors. This is what's going to prevent wind getting through your windows and doors. A lot of people think, oh, if I just put tape on my windows, is it going to protect me? No, that's just going to protect it from shattering. But if you protect the window from something, debris flying through, this is what's going to save your home.
Now, our residents not only have to worry about wind and rain, but also potential flooding. How can this be mitigated?
Yeah, flooding is a huge problem, especially here in South Florida. So we have vapor barriers, we have visqueen, and obviously sandbags where you can stack them up and protect yourself from that water penetrating your home.
So I think our residents are off to a great start with all of the supplies that we discussed today. Any final words on why we should take being prepared seriously?
Absolutely. Storms are serious and you want to prepare yourself ahead of the storm. Don't wait till the last minute. The shelves will be empty. Beat the rush. Be prepared. Be smart.
Thanks, Jose.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Don't let the next storm catch you off guard. For more information on how to stay ahead of a storm, including a full list of supplies, visit miamidade.gov/weatherready. I'm Jada Petty-Frere. Thanks for watching.
In a world ruled by nature.
I'm Captain Baywatch, and I love the bay. Before this place was known for spring break, it was a swamp. As our city grew, we did some serious damage to this place we call home.
And things are only getting worse.
Facts. Freshwater's at risk, and our coastlines are in danger. Come on now. Just throw out your trash. And if you don't know,
Ya tú sabes.
Through the ages, artists have been involved in making civic buildings great, and they become a source of community pride. And so the idea was that governments at all levels could work with artists to make buildings great, and that spirit persists to this day.
Art to me is educational. Art to me is a wonderful visual experience. Art to me enriches an area that I'm a part of at that given time. And in the case of Greater Miami, you know, I'm on a permanent basis here.
Arts in general, I think, are very important to a community, and I think Miami and its environs, now Miami-Dade, has gained an international luster because of the art that we foster.
The Art in Public Places program has resulted in the acquisition and commissioning of more than 700 pieces of public artwork throughout the county, including libraries, metro rail stations, and parks.
It's funded through an ordinance that was passed in 1973, taking 1.5% of the cost of a construction project and devoting that to art in public places.
Miami-Dade County Art in Public Places dedicates 15% of the 1.5% generated by all new public art allocations to a repair and restoration fund that is used for specialized tasks required to restore and/or repair works of art in its collection. These funds are replenished on an ongoing basis with proceeds from new commissions. Art in Public Places is implementing several projects related to the care and preservation of the collection. Former County Commissioner Ruth Shack witnessed the creation of the Art in Public Places program back in 1973.
The story that I have heard is when the then mayor, Jack Orr, went to Hawaii. He found this extraordinary program where a percentage of all public buildings went to art in the building, and established it here in Miami-Dade. And I was invited to serve on the first committee to choose the art.
A 15-member Art in Public Places Trust was established to oversee the program. Its volunteer members are appointed by the Miami-Dade County Commission. The Trust appoints a Professional Advisory Committee, or PAC, of art experts, who advise the Trust about art acquisitions and commissions. The Department of Cultural Affairs staff works with the Trust and PAC to facilitate their work. Staff also works with the selected artists and key project stakeholders to ensure that the result is great art that contributes to making great public spaces.
The Orange Pills are my favorite one because they're downtown and they're the work of two great artists. She has since passed away.
The sculpture creates the snapshot instant of the impact together with the water effects, which give you a feeling of a splash and the sound of impact.
I think one of the great eye-catching things is Krebs' work on metro rail, which was unveiled in the early to mid 80s.
And Rockne, at the time, when technology wasn't as advanced as it is today, proposed neon for the metro rail bridge. And no one at the time realized that the trains going over the bridge would create such vibration that the neon would break periodically. So we talked to Rockne and convinced him to let us try to recreate the work in LED, a much more durable, stable light form that could actually completely replicate the effect of neon.
So, how does an artist get commissioned by Miami-Dade County? First, an open call is put out into the art world.
They do several calls. They do some calls that are open to international, and they do a call that's specifically to local artists. I submitted my work. I was a finalist who was asked to do a proposal, and my proposal was chosen. Every artist would love to have a commission.
The inspiration behind this piece?
The inspiration, actually, the history of the fire department. This work behind me features photographs of Pine Rockland areas in west part of the county.
I've always challenged myself to think, like, what would be an interesting public artwork today? You know, like, how would I approach it? If I'm going to be all critical about these big, ugly steel sculptures, like, what do I have to offer, you know? So I've been thinking about it for a while, and it's been good to like get opportunities to work within, you know, my hometown in Port of Miami, for example, working with Coral Morphologic, which is a science and arts endeavor run by Colin Ford and Jared McKay. We collaborated on identifying the species of living corallimorphs that inhabit the Port of Miami. And so we blew those images up because they're really tiny, incredible creatures. And we didn't alter any of the colors that are inherent to them. We just blew them up. And we wrapped 18 parking booths with 18 individual corallimorphs. So that was awesome. It just turned this booth, you know, the people that you pay to go in and park, that like little booth. We just transformed them from these blue faded shells into this like living work of art.
We decided that we would take the 1,100 bollards. These are the big concrete posts that come up to protect the pedestrians on the sidewalk from cars running into them. Typically, they're these ugly yellowish looking things. Miami artist Jim Drain proposed making all the bollards into sort of maritime-oriented colors, like for maritime flags. And so we have this festive 1,100 bollards at the seaport now that Jim has transformed from these ugly sort of like barriers into actually like a festival of colors.
This Arcola project took almost 2 years to complete. I didn't think it was going to take that long. The opportunity to work outdoors and at that scale was something that I've never really done before, so I think on that kind of front, I think it's good. I'd like to think that some kid's gonna look at that piece and just somehow be inspired in a positive sense, whatever that might mean. Ultimately, that's what it's there for the young minds to kind of maybe see things that they won't necessarily see anywhere else. I learned a lot. The end project, I think it's almost identical to what I presented. And this is like, I mean, it was all chaos. I mean, it's just like, you know, you pour the stuff and it just goes wherever you want it to go. There's no way to control it.
I was approached by Art in Public Places back in 2004. They were particularly looking for an artist who had already been depicting golf courses in their works. They brought me to the construction site back then, and we were kind of taking into account what kind of work would be good for a place like this because it's exposed to the elements. I put together a proposal and it was presented to the Art in Public Places Committee. It was approved, and so after that I started working on the actual piece. I came one day and I took millions and millions of photographs of every single corner of Crandon Park Golf Course. Then, based on those photographs, I created around 90 or 100 paintings, individual paintings on canvas. Those paintings were scanned, and each scanned image was then transferred onto a glass tile through a process that is called sublimation, where an image is heated up to a point that the ink goes through the glass tile and the image rests inside the glass tile. Doing projects for Art in Public Places is an amazing opportunity for artists. It's a kind of validation. The fact that the county is commissioning you as an artist to create a piece that will be in a building for many, many years is an amazing compliment.
It's being open, perhaps, you know, and it's an algorithm in a sense. It's a wave, you know. Sometimes you're wide open, sometimes you're narrow. I mean, I think the art can be that way. Sometimes it's very specific, it's very poignant. It's like, I need to say this, like, bam, this has to get out of me, like, right now.
Art can be so many things, but it's not the thing, is what I'm getting at. Art is not a thing. Art is an experience. It's a transformation that happens when you encounter something that has given form to a formless reality.
Art is this thing that exists in a way that reflects our existence on this planet.
Art is different for different people. For me, it's magic, it's alchemy, it's a way of transcending the material realm.
For me in my life, I mean, it's just, it's my life. Art is my life.
you haven't been to a park lately, it's time to rediscover parks. Rediscover adventure. Rediscover nature. Rediscover outdoor sports and fitness. It's time to rediscover all the fun and diverse activities Miami-Dade parks have to offer. Learn how you can live a park life by visiting miamidade.gov/parks. Si hace tiempo que no vas a los parques, te invitamos a redescubrirlos. Redescubre la aventura, la naturaleza, los deportes y el ejercicio físico al aire libre. Es hora de redescubrir todas las actividades divertidas que ofrecen los parques de Miami-Dade. Descubre cómo vivir la vida al aire libre en miamidade.gov/parks.
Si vous pas allé dans pas quelque temps, c'est moment pour redécouvrir parc yo. Redécouvrir aventure, redécouvrir la nature, redécouvrir sport avec exercice physique dehors. Redécouvrir tout amusement avec diverses activités parc Miami-Dade pour offrir. Apprendre qui j'en vivre une vie dans parc divertissement, alors visitez miamidade.gov/parks.
We're here at Deerwood Bonita Lakes Park and we are celebrating Puptoberfest. It's been a beautiful day here. We've already helped 66 wonderful pets, and we all know that having a pet at home means having a creature that loves you, that adores you, that looks forward to seeing you. And some of the pets that were adopted today have been in shelter for a very long time. We're very grateful.
I think it's amazing. There's not a lot of events going on in Miami-Dade for dogs. We have to step up and just give them a home, give them security, and to show them that they can be loved.
It's very important for us to make adoptions accessible, for microchips and vaccines to be accessible. So we want to be in the community as much as possible. Today is an example of that. Miami-Dade County Animal Services is traveling into the community so that residents have an opportunity to meet our wonderful pets and adopt. So if you want to open up your heart, come adopt a dog or a cat from Miami-Dade Animal Services, and we'll make it as easy as possible.
Welcome to Capitol Update, your review of state government for the week ending Friday, October 31st. I'm Rebecca Baer. It was a wild weather week in Florida and the Caribbean. 2 tornadoes hit Mexico Beach, flooding tore up streets and property in central Florida, and many kept a close watch on the Caribbean, where a powerful hurricane was churning. Several RVs are ready for the scrapyard after a tornado with winds of up to 100 miles per hour damaged them before sunrise Monday.
All of a sudden, it's like the wind just picked up and just, boom, rolled us over.
In hindsight, Mike O'Mara says he and his wife should have moved to their truck when he got the alert, instead of hunkering down in their travel trailer. So you're rolled over.
We're trapped inside.
And then what happens? What do you do?
Well, Dawn was hurt pretty bad, so she was sitting there, and then people came around and broke out the window and got us out.
A second, weaker tornado struck an area just west of the RV park. For some residents, the weather might have been a reminder of what happened 7 years ago when Hurricane Michael decimated much of Mexico Beach.
When things like that happen, it rattles you a little bit. Thankfully, this was a small, isolated incident and nothing major.
State Representative Griff Griffiths, who was a Bay County commissioner when Hurricane Michael hit, also surveyed the damage at the RV park and across the street at the El Governor Resort, where the tornado blew the roof right off.
The El Governor Hotel. The El Governor is a staple in Mexico Beach. It's been there for decades and got beat up really bad during Hurricane Michael, as they probably were the epicenter of the landfall. Just reopened a handful of years ago after a total renovation, lost their roof. Sadly, their roof was peeled off. I do believe, based on what they're saying, is that they're going to get back operational very quickly. So hopefully just a few weeks down for some repairs.
He praised local responders for how quickly they were able to upright the RVs, clear debris on the road, and get the power back on. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins and state emergency officials went to Central Florida, where in some areas a storm dumped 19 inches of rain, causing flooding and sinkholes. In Mount Dora, a road to and from downtown collapsed. FDOT crews and water pumps were deployed to the area.
I'm being hopeful that they're okay.
And on Wednesday, Representative Lisa Dunkley was awaiting word from family members in Jamaica. She was born and raised there. The country was devastated this week by Hurricane Melissa, the strongest hurricane so far this season.
We are a community of people that just care about each other outside of that. And I know of people who are directly there. They too, their whole town is gone. All the buildings are down. Everything that they knew as a child is gone, or their community as they know it is gone. So I'm concerned for those people too, and my heart and my thoughts are going out to them.
At least one organization in Miami started shipping supplies to Jamaica before the storm hit. Dunkley said some businesses in her district are also taking donations. Representative Omar Blanco also called for Florida search and rescue teams to be deployed to the country. Delegation meetings continued around the state as lawmakers met face-to-face with their constituents to discuss issues like flood control, judicial salaries, and transparency in private schools. We have team coverage, starting with Capitol Update's Mike Laquia.
Today is one of my very favorite days of the year. To hear from Manatee County folks and my constituents on what issues are important to you all.
And in one county after another, people came to talk to their senators and representatives about Senate Bill 180, which was signed into law in June. They don't like it.
Senate Bill 180 really was a death blow to governing our local communities.
Sections 18 and 28 of SB 180 have real consequences for us, your constituents. They are preventing us from having a say in shaping our future.
That was a sweetheart deal for the developers, and we're all suffering.
Most of the 48-page bill has to do with helping communities rebound after getting hit by a hurricane. People spoke in favor of those parts of the bill, and the bill did pass almost unanimously. Other parts of the new law ban local governments within 100 miles of a hurricane tract from blocking construction or redevelopment of any property for a year. The law also temporarily bans new local land use ordinances that are more restrictive and burdensome. Opponents of the law say it has a chilling effect on managing development and fixing problems like stormwater runoff.
We recently have watched our river flood ranches and homes, not just from rainfall and hurricanes, but because of construction, dredging, and vegetation removal that have altered the river's natural flow. Yet when we ask for action, we are told that SB 180 limits what can be done at this point.
This is not jobs versus flooding or flooding versus jobs. The property loss and reduced home value from flooding have taken their toll.
St. Johns County's comprehensive plan was actually just rejected by the state because of this. And some of the reasons that it was rejected were things like increasing bicycle safety, protecting hurricane evacuation routes, things that are really common sense issues.
Several lawmakers said a new bill is in the works.
If there's things we can tweak and that we need to fix, we certainly will. Along the way, it was made to look like this was jammed down communities, not just Manatee counties, but others around the state down their throats intentionally, and it wasn't. It was something to try to protect residents and citizens, help, and more importantly, help them get back into their homes and properties.
Stop approving these bills aimed at removing local decisions. You know, why does the state know best?
I never once heard from you about this issue. I've been happy to talk. Let me speak. I've been happy to talk with you about it. I never once heard from you on it.
We don't know what's going to happen at the last minute in Tallahassee, and we expect you to protect us from those last-minute decisions. From what I understand, a lot of bad stuff happened at the last minute. I don't think you intended it that way.
Well, a lot of stuff happens at the last minute, good or bad, in local government as well. So we're all supposed to work together.
In Volusia County, the delegation meeting went on for more than 4 hours. Senator Tom Wright let people know they got the message.
May I just ask, you're going to oppose SB 180?
I am.
Is that why you're talking?
That is one of the things that...
Okay, is there anything else? I mean, we've heard it enough times. We know that there's issues with 180, and we're working hard to try to correct them.
The regular session starts on January 13.
I'm Vance Osteen. Amid a slew of appropriations requests and constituent concerns, Osceola County's legislative delegation heard from Melissa Vickers, the public defender for Florida's 9th Judicial Circuit. She says her office is severely underfunded.
Here we're getting 2 new judges in Osceola, which we are very excited about because the caseloads in county court are double what they are in Orange County. So with that, the problem is that when they fund a judge, they don't fund the rest of the courtroom, which includes public defenders, state attorneys, clerks, deputies, things like that. So we need those positions funded.
She added that her office would be requesting additional funds to cover due process costs. That money goes towards anything deemed necessary for a trial case, including things like fees for translators or travel costs for witnesses.
We are the 3rd largest circuit in Florida. However, we are funded due process-wise at a rate of less than the other top 4 circuits, and specifically our case cost per case is $24.77, whereas Broward, who's right above us, is $44.95. So you can see the disparity that we deal with. Hillsborough is right below us, and they're at $42.30 a case. This is a glaring disparity that needs to be resolved.
Camilla Perry is the General Counsel and Executive Director for the 9th Judicial Circuit. She echoed Vickers' comments, adding that the cost of living has risen considerably in Osceola County.
The turnover is outrageous, and the only thing that will help us is to get more bodies in that building and to be able to pay them a living wage. Of course, you know, they know that they're not going to be millionaires or earn a ton of money, but they should not have to take a vow of poverty in order to serve our community. And the only problem that really is intensified is our victims who are in danger of their crimes not being properly prosecuted.
The 9th Judicial Circuit is one of 20 in the state. It covers all of Orange and Osceola counties. They weren't the only judicial circuit requesting more money. 3rd Circuit Public Defender Cliff Wilson said attracting new talent to Columbia County has been a challenge.
For every job that I have filled, I've had one applicant. Y'all have done a great job in getting money up, getting those salaries up, but we still struggle. My most recent vacancy, I have not received a single qualified applicant for that full-time position.
In June, the governor vetoed over $3 million in allocations to fund the public defender's competitive area differential pay. That money would have gone toward raising the pay for public defenders in several judicial circuits across the state.
This budget, you know, they kind of play some games. There's kind of like here's the budget number, but then they put spending in the back of the bill. I think you just got to count both. So if you count all the spending that was proposed by me, all the spending that was actually enacted by the legislature, that was about a $600 million difference. They were $600 million above what I had proposed.
Wilson says more cuts could be coming if the legislature doesn't intervene.
Governor's asked about sweeping our trust funds. Please don't do it. We use that money to help pay our salaries. I'm knee-deep in my trust fund in paying salaries. Most public defenders are. Most state attorneys are.
The fund he's referencing is the Indigent Criminal Defense Trust Fund. It's a pool of money appropriated by the legislature to pay public defenders around the state. According to the governor's office, the current state budget allocates $15 million to provide pay raises to some public defenders and prosecutors. Attorneys who testified at the meeting said that isn't enough.
I'm Mike Laquia. In Leon County, residents told lawmakers what they think should be the priorities of the legislature during the upcoming session. A school board member asked lawmakers to remove the requirement for high school graduates to pass an algebra test if they're taking career and technical classes.
To make them, have them required to take that Algebra 1 EOC when they're really clearly going to the workforce is kind of a detriment. And we would love to see a CTE test when they pass all those certifications, allow that to maybe take the place of passing an Algebra 1 EOC.
Another school board member asked lawmakers to increase transparency in private schools with students that receive state scholarships.
If we're going to give taxpayer money to private schools, that there should be a lot more transparency about how many kids are there, who's the principal, what are the certification requirements, just the basics, so that we as citizens really can go online at the DOE website and see, what are these schools and how many kids do they have and what are those test scores.
Florida A&M University asked for more dollars to hire top talent.
We intend to restructure faculty and staff compensation so that we can attract and retain world-class talent.
A now retired state worker asked for a cost of living adjustment to retirement payments on behalf of hundreds of thousands of former state employees. And the mayor of Tallahassee described what the potential impact of eliminating property taxes could look like in the capital city.
It will wipe out Parks and Recreation, which has a smaller budget than the police department budget. It will wipe out neighborhood affairs.
Also, the director of a local food bank told lawmakers that money from a state program connecting farmers and food banks has allowed them to give away more produce as well as eggs and milk.
I'm Vance Osteen. Lawmakers for St. Lucie County heard comments, concerns, and appropriations requests from constituents ahead of the 2026 legislative session. Representatives for the St. Lucie County Mosquito Control District advocated for a local bill they say would expand service.
This bill revises the district's boundaries and authorizes a referendum on November 3rd, 2026, allowing voters in the proposed expansion areas to decide whether to join the district and receive full mosquito control services.
The St. Lucie County Mosquito Control District was established in 1926. The district currently covers 336 square miles, including the cities of Fort Pierce and Port St. Lucie. The proposed expansion would add an additional 112 square miles to the district.
Expansion costs are estimated at $250,000 annually and will be funded through the existing millage rate of 0.1352. One of the lowest in the state of Florida.
Some constituents say the expansion is necessary.
We have to consider the nature of our state and the wetlands areas. So whatever we can do, and the citizens, when they pass this, and I do believe they will, as they've done other needed services, we ask your support in it.
Lawmakers voted unanimously to move the bill forward. Representative Dana Trabulsi the bill in the House. Local officials said conversations around property tax reform should consider the impacts on services like those offered by the Mosquito Control District.
In St. Lucie County, property taxes are not an abstract concept. They are frontline 911 public safety communications officers answering calls for service, libraries serving residents of multiple generations, and road repairs to ensure our families arrive home safely.
As a municipality entrusted with providing essential services, property taxes fund safety, recreation, and infrastructure that our residents depend on, from police and fire protection to parks to road maintenance and public works. And these investments keep our community safe, vibrant, and growing responsibly.
The conversation didn't stop at new bills. Representatives for the State Department of Health in St. Lucie said they were surprised at the turnout for their annual pediatric heart screening.
Last year, we screened 424 students. Of those, 8 were identified with abnormal results and referred for follow-up with pediatric cardiologists. This year, we already reached our capacity of 700 kids as of earlier this morning. We anticipated a much larger showing because of Senate Bill 1070.
That law went into effect earlier this year and requires high school students to have at least one electrocardiogram screening in order to participate in school sports. The requirement doesn't go into effect until the 26-27 school year.
The Florida House has produced 8 proposals to reduce or eliminate property taxes. If they pass the legislature, 7 would go on the ballot for voters to decide. This week, state economists got to work estimating how much revenue would be lost, especially to local governments. One of the bills, House Bill 201, comes closest to what the governor has called for. It would eliminate non-school property taxes for homestead properties. Others would phase them out over time or make special exemptions for property insurance and people over 65. The governor said putting multiple property tax amendments on the ballot could cause so much confusion that nothing would pass. His representative in the estimating conference raised a similar issue.
This might be a question for the House, but has anyone considered what would happen if multiple proposals passed, and how we would treat the possible competing and conflating issues?
I think in the past, for example, with like sales tax holidays, the conference has adopted an impact for a certain holiday, recognizing that there might be overlap with something else, and then deciding that, you know, when we got the measures, we would know what had passed and we could try to reconcile it. I think at this point, if we tried to tie all these together, we'd end up with negative indeterminate for everything.
For House Bill 201, they came up with a revenue impact the first year of more than $14 billion, but Chief Economist Amy Baker said that estimate will probably change by the end of the year after they get millage updates from local governments. $3 million Floridians could lose food assistance due to the federal government shutdown, and Democrats in the Florida House and Senate asked the governor to help. Every Democrat in the legislature signed a letter to Governor DeSantis urging him to declare a state of emergency. They say it would unlock state resources that could boost food distribution programs and provide free school meals to kids.
Because no Floridian should go hungry, especially not when we have an emergency fund. And when I think about, you know, what would qualify as a state of emergency, if hungry kids and hungry seniors, if feeding our neighbors doesn't qualify as a state of emergency, I don't know what else would.
The governor responded at an unrelated news conference Wednesday.
Did those Democrats write a letter to Chuck Schumer asking him to stop filibustering the spending?
Leader Driscoll said playing the blame game doesn't put food on kids' plates.
By the way, I mean, let's be very honest. Republicans control Congress. They control the presidency in D.C. If they wanted to end the shutdown, they could.
Funding for SNAP benefits is due to run out on November 1st. In the Volusia County delegation meeting, the region's food bank had a warning for lawmakers.
I will tell you that this week and the past few weeks, we have seen a spike in people visiting our pantries. With the ceasing of funding of SNAP starting on Saturday, we are anticipating 68,000 individuals right here in Volusia County are not going to get those benefits. For every meal the food bank provides, SNAP provides 9. That is not a gap that we can fill this week.
The food bank advocacy director said they'll do the best they can to organize partners and raise more money on their own, but will probably need help from the legislature. Has a new immigration czar. Larry Keefe was the first, taking the job in February. The governor and cabinet met for less than 3 minutes by phone this week and revealed that Keefe was moving on.
I first want to thank our outgoing executive director, Larry Keefe, for what he's done to get everything up and running, to make sure that Florida leads the way in immigration enforcement.
The new executive director is Anthony Coker. In June, he was introduced by the Attorney General as the state's ICE liaison.
We're excited to be the first state to announce our own ICE agent embed in the state. Agent Coker will be housed here with our leadership team in Florida as we work to support the Trump administration's efforts to combat illegal immigration.
Mr. Attorney General, as a federal law enforcement officer who lives in the state of Florida, I would like to personally thank you on behalf of all federal law enforcement partners and our families who call Florida home. Knowing that you and the state of Florida have our backs while we perform these duties, we could rest easy, knowing and staying focused on the mission set forth by President Trump.
That was June 12th. The governor's office said Coker is now officially the state's executive director of immigration and enforcement. They called Keefe's departure a planned transition. Florida's education commissioner went to a local school board meeting this week and accused them of mismanagement and limiting teacher salary increases. Commissioner Stotsi Kamutsa spoke at the Leon County School Board meeting. He discussed negotiations with the union over teacher pay raises and how additional state dollars are being used.
It appears that much of this funding is being used to support executive pay raises rather than classroom instruction. In fact, several administrators at the district level received raises exceeding $10,000 annually. Leon County also maintains a disproportionately large executive and administrative staff compared to other counties.
Earlier in the week, the school board chair gave local lawmakers a breakdown of the extra salary dollars.
This year, as you know, it's been all in the news that our district received $1 million, and which we're always thankful. But as you know, when you spread it over several thousand teachers, it comes to a little less than $500 a year for our teachers. So when you break that down a month, it's between $40 and $50 a month.
Superintendent Rocky Hanna told the Tallahassee Democrat that the commissioner was trying to make a public spectacle and never tried to talk to him on the phone about these issues. High school students around the state have the chance to win big money through Florida's Civics and Debate Initiative. The governor announced that winners of the Civics and Debate Initiative state championship will earn thousands of dollars in scholarships to go along with their trophies. He added that the championship trophy would be named after political commentator Charlie Kirk.
Because of private donations to the Florida Education Foundation as well as Florida Prepaid, we are going to be able to award the winner of the Kirk Prize a $50,000 scholarship.
The runner-up will receive a $25,000 scholarship. According to the State Department of Education, the Florida Civics and Debate Initiative was created in 2019 to emphasize civics education in public schools. The governor says the State Civics and Debate Championship will be held next April at New College in Sarasota. Visitors to the Capitol these days will find some new exhibits on the lowest and highest public levels of the building. At the top, an exhibit highlighting the photography collection in the state archives. The title, Daguerreotype to Digital, isn't just a clever sign. The archives historian explained that the earliest practical form of photography was based on a highly polished silver plate coated with chemicals.
Your digital image sensor, if you have a digital camera and you care to take off the lens, you'll see the sensor inside. It's just a really highly polished mirror. It sounds kind of familiar. That's a daguerreotype in its own way. It's a mirror that can keep what it reflects. So the technology has changed entirely. We're not even talking about chemistry anymore, but it's still the same idea.
Then on the lower level of the Capitol, an exhibit called Road to Liberty. It highlights figures from the American Revolution. Some you'll recognize, others not so much. It's part of the state's observance of the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence in July 2026. Now here's a look at some of the other developments in state government this week.
As you approach the bluff face at Alum Bluff, the first thing you see and probably the first feeling you get is just an immense awe at, this doesn't look like Florida.
But Alum Bluff is, in fact, located in North Florida. It's part of the Nature Conservancy's Apalachicola Bluffs and Ravines Preserve. The state geologist recently designated Alum Bluff Florida's first invertebrate paleontological site, as well as a state geological site. Harley Means says it's one of the only places in Florida you can see 4 different geological formations.
These geologic units that are exposed at Alum Bluff sort of are, a record of what was going on at that particular time in Florida, and each one of those units tells a story.
Fossils that are found here go back 17 million years, from ancient seashells left by snails, clams, and other mollusks to plant remains fixed in clay that grew in a hardwood forest that existed there 15 million years ago. On top of that, there's another formation known as the Jackson Bluff Formation.
That one is only about 3 to 4 million years old.
Out of there come the fossils of marine animals like whales and dolphins.
But we also get, periodically, the teeth of the giant meg-toothed shark that lived during that time, which most people call megalodon. But it was the largest shark that ever lived, and some estimates of its length are on the order of 60 feet.
Means said the idea behind the designation is to protect sites that contain rare, unique, and scientifically significant fossils. He expects to name more invertebrate paleontological sites in the near future. And that's it for this edition of Capitol Update. From all of us, thanks for watching.
Facing a storm is one challenge. Facing it unprepared is another. That's why I'm going to help you stay ahead of a storm. Let's go. Hurricane season officially runs from June 1st to November 30th, so it's still a good time to stock up on essentials. But you don't have to shop alone. Miami-Dade County offers a severe weather and emergency readiness guide to help you along the way. I'll be teaming up with Jose Alvarez, the General Manager of Shell Lumber and Hardware, to share weather-ready supplies that will prepare you for the next storm. Jose, can you tell us what are some items that our residents should consider to prepare for a storm?
Yeah, absolutely. So since 1928 and every year thereafter, we've been telling the community to always stock up on the essentials. Things like batteries, flashlights, masks, gloves. Those are all things that are going to be great if a storm does come, but if it doesn't, you'll still need them at home.
Okay, so can you please tell us now, how can our county residents protect areas where wind can enter?
So we always recommend the best course of action is to have impact-resistant windows and doors. However, if you didn't order those before this hurricane season, we do have the essential lumber and plywood where you can board up your windows and doors. This is what's going to prevent wind getting through your windows and doors. A lot of people think, oh, if I just put tape on my windows, is it gonna protect me? No, that's just gonna protect it from shattering. But if you protect the window from something, debris flying through, this is what's gonna save your home.
Now, our residents not only have to worry about wind and rain, but also potential flooding. How can this be mitigated?
Yeah, flooding is a huge problem, especially here in South Florida. So we have vapor barriers, we have visqueen, and obviously sandbags where you can stack them up and protect yourself from that water penetrating your home.
So I think our residents are off to a great start with all of the supplies that we discussed today. Any final words on why we should take being prepared seriously?
Absolutely. Storms are serious and you want to prepare yourself ahead of the storm. Don't wait till the last minute. The shelves will be empty. Beat the rush. Be prepared. Be smart.
Thanks, Jose.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Don't let the next storm catch you off guard. For more information on how to stay ahead of a storm, including a full list of supplies, visit miamidade.gov/weather-ready. I'm Jada Petty-Frere. Thanks for watching.
Metro Express at the 152nd Street station, my station, and we've just launched and cut the ribbon. This is transformational for transportation in Miami-Dade County. It took a village to build the Metro Express system, and we know that we have a really great product and people are looking to us for the future.
These buses are quiet, heavily air-conditioned with charging for your phones and Wi-Fi and everything. It really feels like a very different experience, and we're being very innovative here, and it's very exciting.
I had the opportunity to work on this project from both the state and local side, making sure that the state was able to provide $100 million of funding, and then to sit and cut the ribbon today. It's just a culmination of a fantastic career for me.
Metro Express! This is about the people, the residents of Miami-Dade County that will use this rapid bus transit system, that will have reliable transportation to get to work and back, and be able to spend more time with their families and support their families every single day.
Projects like this allow our residents greater access to professions, to jobs, which creates the money that they need in order to feed their families. So this sort of project could never have been done without all of you.
It connects people to opportunity. It connects them to parks. It connects them to their doctor's appointment. You're getting people moving healthier.
We're super excited about the BRT and its connection to Dadeland. This is the opportunity for us to be ambassadors of this new modality.
Congratulations to the people of South Dade. You now have a rapid transit option here in your community.
This is about the people that we're privileged to represent, to make their lives a little bit better, a little bit easier. It is a great day, and it's a long time coming.
Before selecting a spot in your yard, call 811 for a free underground utility check to make sure you don't dig up any cables or pipes. So where can my tree go? Small trees 6 to 12 feet away from the house and overhead lines. Large trees 12 to 20 feet away. To keep your house cool, plant trees along the eastern, southern, and western walls. Remember, always avoid planting trees next to septic systems, streets, paths, overhead utility lines, and sprinklers. When handling your new tree, it's important to remember never grab your tree by the trunk. Always carry it by the pot. The hole should be 2 to 3 times wider than the root ball. Make sure the planting hole is no deeper than the root ball of the plant. Place your tree in the hole and begin to fill it back up with the same soil. Do not use any other materials to fill the hole. That means no organic matter, potting soil, or fertilizer. When the hole is half full, soak the soil with water to remove any air pockets that may have formed. Then begin to fill the remaining portion until it is even with ground level. Gently pack the soil around the tree. Do not stomp on it. Then add more water to remove additional air pockets. Once that's finished, build a 3-inch circular berm around the outer edge of the planting hole. Use organic mulch 3 to 4 inches deep around the outside of the root ball and away from the tree's trunk. While caring for your new tree, make sure to keep the root ball moist but not wet. The first week, water your tree every day. After the first week, you should water your new tree every 2 days for a month. By the 6th week, you'll start to water your tree just once a week. After 3 months, water your tree as needed. During the first year, do not fertilize your tree or prune it unless you need to remove dead or damaged limbs. At this point, you can also remove any stakes if the tree is able to stand on its own. To take care of your tree long term, be careful to protect the tree trunk from any weed eaters or lawnmowers. And as pretty as it might look, don't plant anything new in the root zone under your new tree.
Antes de elegir el lugar, llama al 811 para pedir una comprobación gratuita del terreno y asegurarte de no dañar ningún cable o tubería. ¿Dónde puedo poner el árbol? Los árboles pequeños a una distancia de 6 a 12 pies de la casa y del tendido eléctrico. Los árboles grandes a una distancia de 12 a 20 pies. Para mantener fresca la casa, planta árboles por los lados este, sur y oeste. Siempre recuerda que no se deben plantar árboles junto a sistemas sépticos, calles, senderos, tendido de servicios públicos o aspersores. Al trasladar el nuevo árbol, recuerda que nunca el tronco, sino por la propia maceta o base. El agujero en la tierra debe ser de 2 a 3 veces más ancho que la base de la planta, pero no debe ser más profundo. Coloca el árbol en el agujero y empieza a rellenarlo con la misma tierra extraída. No utilices ningún otro material. Es decir, no utilices ni materia orgánica, ni tierra para macetas, ni fertilizante. Cuando el agujero esté medio lleno, empapa de agua la tierra para eliminar cualquier bolsa de aire. Entonces empieza a rellenar la parte restante hasta que quede al nivel del suelo. Presiona suavemente la tierra alrededor sin apisonarla. Luego añade más agua para eliminar las bolsas de aire que hayan quedado. Al terminar, crea un círculo de tierra de 3 pulgadas alrededor del borde exterior del agujero. Coloca un recubrimiento de 3 a 4 pulgadas de espesor con mulch orgánico alrededor de la base y lejos del tronco del árbol. Para cuidar tu nuevo árbol, debes mantener la base húmeda, pero no empapada. La primera semana, riega el árbol todos los días. Después de la primera semana, se debe regar un día sí y 2 no durante un mes. Desde la 6ª semana, se debe regar el árbol una sola vez a la semana. Después de 3 meses, riega el árbol según sea necesario. En el primer año, no se debe usar fertilizante ni podar el árbol, a menos que tengas que quitarle ramas muertas o dañadas. En ese momento, también puedes retirar las estacas de apoyo si el árbol se mantiene en pie por sí mismo. Para seguir cuidando el árbol, protege el tronco de cualquier podadora o cortadora de césped. Y, por muy bonito que se vea, no plantes nada más en el espacio que ocupan las raíces de tu nuevo árbol.
Avon choisi un côté dans la cour et les 811 pour un tiers gratis sous côté au passé service utilité en bataille pour assurer qu'on pas fouiller sous cab ou soit tuyau. Alors qui côté pied bois blanc à aller? 10 pieds bois à aller 6 à 12 pieds de distance à Kaela avec fil qui passait en l'air. Gros pied bois 12 à 20 pieds de distance. Pour qu'un bec à frais, plantez pied bois sur façade l'est, sud à l'ouest. Songez, toujours éviter planter pied bois à côté système septique, la rue, chemin, fil service utilité qui passait en l'air avec bois arrosoir. L'Europe manipuler nouveau pied bois là, l'important pour songer, pas jamais prendre pied bois dans collé, toujours porter dans récipient. Assurer que trou quand on parle planter là, pas pifon passer boule racine plante là. Toi t'as doué 2 à 3 fois pilage passer boule racine là. Mettez pied bois là dans trou et puis commencez à remplir la même terre. Pas servi avec l'autre matériel pour remplir trou. Ça veut dire aucune matière organique, aucun sol qui fait pour récipient ou soit engrais. Le trou à moitié plein, mettez de l'eau dans terre pour retirer toute poche d'air qui a formé. Et puis commencez à remplir portion qui était jusqu'à ce qu'elle arrive dans le niveau terre. Mettez tout doucement à l'entour pied bois, pas fouler. Après ça, ajoutez plus de l'eau pour retirer l'autre poche d'air. Une fois fini, bâti un petit but 3 pouces à l'entour trou quand on mette plante là. Utilisez retail bois organique 3 à 4 pouces profondeur à l'entour extérieur boule racine là et puis loin copier bois. Pendant qu'on prend soin de nouveau pied bois là, assurez qu'aucun boule racine là humide sans le pas mouiller. Première semaine là, vous avez pied bois là chaque jour. Après première semaine là, vous devez vous pied bois là chaque 2 jours pour un mois. Dans 6e semaine là, on va commencer à user pied bois là seulement une fois par semaine. Après 3 mois, user pied bois laisse nécessaire. Pendant la première année, pas mettre un grain dans pied bois, ou soit débrancher seulement si vous avez besoin de retirer branche qui mourit ou soit qui dommagée. Dans point ça, vous pouvez retirer tout support si pied bois a campé pour contrôler. Pour prendre soin pied bois là à long terme, faites attention pour protéger corps pied bois contre tout poison, mauvaises herbes, ragées ou soit machines herbes. Quel que soit genre où elle semble belle, pas planter rien dans une racine en bas de nouveau pied bois là.
Every year, thousands of pets go missing in Miami-Dade County. Sadly, many of them never make it back home. A microchip can make the difference between your pet being lost and being found. It is a small device safely inserted under your pet's skin that provides permanent, reliable identification.
We're calling from Miami-Dade Animal Services. Your dog Pongo is here.
Pet owners are encouraged to microchip their pets and keep their contact information current in the microchip registry. Get chipped or get lost.
Human life is not for sale. Yet each year, millions of young people are exploited and abused in Miami-Dade County and throughout the nation. Criminals force victims to blend into our community so they go undetected. Stop human trafficking. Save somebody or save yourself. If you are a victim or suspect you know one, help is available. Call 911 or the National Human Trafficking Hotline at 1-888-3737-888. La vida humana no se vende. Cada año millones de jóvenes sufren explotación y abuso en toda la nación y en el condado de Miami-Dade. Los delincuentes obligan a las víctimas a integrarse a la comunidad para que no las detecten. Detén el tráfico de personas, salva a alguien o sálvate. Si eres víctima o sospechas de alguien que conozcas, hay ayuda disponible. Llama al 911 o a la línea de ayuda contra el tráfico de personas al 1-888-3737-888.
La vie moun pas pour vendre. Mais chaque année, ils exploitent et abusent plusieurs millions de jeunes moun dans le Miami-Dade dans tout le pays. Criminels forcés victimes mélangés en dans communauté noire pour ne pas détecter. Suspendre trafic moun. Sauver yon moun ou soit sauver tête pa ou. Si vous êtes une victime ou soit suspect ou connaît yon, qui aide qui disponible. Relais 911 ou soit ligne directe nationale contre trafic moun dans 1-888-3737-888.
We're currently here at the Stephen P. Clark Center, where we have just revealed, as we call it, the wall of heroes for those men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice. It's to always remind our future that someone made the ultimate sacrifice for us to be able to occupy the present moment.
Today is about those over 1,000 people, men and women that lost their lives, residents of Miami-Dade County, that their names will be engraved into that black granite for everyone to come and see and we could recognize.
This is truly going to be a transformation for our Stephen P. Clark Center lobby and for this community, where we're going to be honoring all those who served in all of the different armed services.
It's a wonderful opportunity for us to celebrate those that have served our country. And as a BCC, it's great to see an item finally become a reality.
I can tell you that in our district, District 12, the United States Southern Command, which is one of the 4 commands of the United States military, people employed. And that's very important. So I think the least we can do is to remember the effort that they do day in and day out to keep us safe.
As a Marine, it's extremely significant to me. I know many people that lost their lives in combat. To me, this is one way of signifying and making sure people will not forget the people that gave the maximum sacrifice and lost their lives in war. And that's what this monument represents.
If you haven't been to a park lately, it's time to rediscover parks. Rediscover adventure. Rediscover nature. Rediscover outdoor sports and fitness. It's time to rediscover all the fun and diverse activities Miami-Dade parks have to offer. Learn how you can live a park life by visiting miamidade.gov/parks. Si hace tiempo que no vas a los parques, te invitamos a redescubrirlos. Redescubre la aventura, la naturaleza, los deportes y el ejercicio físico al aire libre. Es hora de redescubrir todas las actividades divertidas que ofrecen los parques de Miami-Dade. Descubre cómo vivir la vida al aire libre en miamidade.gov/parks.
Si vous pas allé dans pas quelque temps, c'est moment pour redécouvrir parc yo. Redécouvrir aventure, redécouvrir la nature, redécouvrir sport avec exercice physique dehors. Redécouvrir tout amusement avec diverses activités parc Miami-Dade pour offrir. Apprendre qui j'en vivre une vie dans parc divertissement, alors visitez miamidade.gov/parks.
We're made, surrounded, and thrown into it, fed, energized, and supported by it. Water makes everything possible, from the very firsts to the everyday, during the make or breaks, or after lazy days, for the dreams come true, and everything in between. Because water is life.
Somos, nos rodea, nos lanzamos a ella, nos alimenta, nos da energía y nos sustenta. Todo es posible gracias al agua, desde aquella primera vez hasta los momentos más cotidianos, en los momentos decisivos o después de un día de descanso, para lograr los sueños y para todo lo demás. Porque el agua es vida.
Nous fait ak li, nous touré ak li, et puis nous lage kon nou la dan. Li nourri nou, li ba nou énergie, et puis li supporte nou. L'eau fait tout bagay possible. Depuis le premier payo, rive dans chaque grain de jeu. Dans moment réussite, ou soit échec, ou soit après quelques jours paresse. Pour rêve yo vin réalité. Ak tout bagay nan mitan yo. Parce que l'eau, c'est la vie.
I'm Captain Baywatch, and I love the bay. Before this place was known for spring break, it was a swamp. As our city grew, we did some serious damage to this place we call home.
Sounds like a government problem.
Bruh, it's everybody's problem. Pet waste, it ends up where we swim.
Ew.
No bueno. Just pick up the poop. And if you don't know,
ya tú sabes.
Imagine a kitchen upgrade or roof repair for your home. But are they safe and up to code? Without a permit, you risk electrical fires or leaky roofs or worse. This endangers lives, decreases property value, leads to costly repairs and fines, and violates the building code. Remember, permits equal protection, and protection equals peace of mind. Protect your home, protect your investment. For more information, visit miamidade.gov/build-permit-safe.
¿Quiere reformar la cocina o reparar el techo de su casa? Hágalo de manera segura y conforme a las normas. Sin un permiso corre peligro de incendios, goteras o algo peor. Y esto pone en riesgo vidas humanas, reduce el valor de su casa, da lugar a reparaciones y multas costosas e infringe el código de construcción. Permiso es igual a protección y protección es igual a tranquilidad. Más en miamidade.gov/build-permit-safe.
Imagine ou faire rénovation cuisine ou soit réparation toiture caillou. Mais est-ce que vous en danger et vous conforme à code là sans yon permis ou risque incendie?